So in essence, as a Ohio taxpayer, I can take the money that I would already be paying to Columbus, I can redirect some of that to scholarships, in our case, for students here at Chess. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Since Chess is part of the OCEN SGO scholarship granting organization, you can donate to the OCEN SGO, designate your gift to Chess, and have it come here to families and award scholarships.
Hello Chess family. Today we want to explain something that perhaps many of you have heard of but might not fully understand, and that's Ohio's scholarship granting organization tax credit, specifically through OCEN. And today I have Adam Bowling here, who is a scholarship officer with OCEN.
Correct. Yep.
To just have a conversation talking about what an SGO is, how it can support Christian schools just like Chess, who qualifies, and just questions like that.
Sure.
So thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. I'm so happy to be here today. So happy to hear more about Chess and the wonderful things that you're doing and how OCEN can come alongside with the SGO and really help you guys.
So starting off, well, perhaps I should provide a disclaimer in that I am not a CPA. So before you make any financial decisions, you should speak to a CPA, talk to your tax preparer, but ultimately we just want to provide helpful information and guidance for our families to think through how can you support a school like Chess through an SGO. Could you give us a little bit of a background or a fundamental understanding of what an SGO is?
Sure, absolutely. So about 4 years ago, I think we're going into the 5th tax season, Ohio passed the opportunity for SGOs, scholarship granting organizations. And so each scholarship granting organization has to be filed with the Ohio Attorney General. And what they do is they accept donations to give scholarships to students and families who qualify. And so the scholarships themselves, they are designated or they're prioritized for low-income families. Everyone is eligible, they just have to be prioritized for low-income families. And so when you give to the SGO, you get a dollar-for-dollar tax credit off your Ohio state tax liability. And then the school that's participating is able to award scholarships based on how much money they raised through their SGO giving season.
Okay. So in essence, as a Ohio taxpayer, I can take the money that I would already be paying to Columbus, I can redirect some of that to scholarships, in our case, for students here at Chess. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Since Chess is part of the OCEN SGO scholarship granting organization, you can donate to the OCEN SGO, designate your gift to Chess, and have it come here to families and award scholarships. And so think of it like this. Everyone in Ohio, if you are making money, if you have a job, you are paying taxes. Everyone in Ohio who earns money has a state tax liability. And when I talk about your state tax liability, I'm not talking about after you file. A lot of people think, well, after I file, I always get a refund. I've never owed taxes in my life. Well, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about before you file. And so you get your state tax liability, and let's say you have a state tax liability of $750. And throughout the year, your employer has been withholding. So you have $800 withheld to cover your $750 state tax liability. So at the end of the year, you meet with your CPA or you get on TurboTax, you do your taxes, and then it says 800 withholding, 750 liability. That 800 covers the 750 liability, so you'll get a $50 refund, right? But with the SGO, right, you could donate $750 to Chess through the OCEN SGO. And so then when you come to do your taxes, that $750 tax liability from the state, you show your OCEN receipt, and so you receive a total credit. So that $750 has been wiped away and you're made whole with the state, except for that $800 of withholding. They withheld that to cover your liability. And since you have no liability anymore, that $800, all 800, come right back to you because of your $750 donation to OCEN.
That's amazing.
It really is. There's nothing else quite like it in the state.
And so, because that doesn't sound like a typical tax deduction. Like if I give to a charity, I can write that off of what my taxable income is. This is what I've heard is like a dollar for dollar tax credit. Can you explain the difference between those two?
So a deduction is, when you're giving to your church or when you give to a ministry that you know and love, what that does is reduce your taxable income. So say you gave $1,000 to your church over the course of a year and you made $60,000. Well, that deduction is going to take your $60,000 taxable income to a $59,000 taxable income. So you're still going to get taxed on $59,000 instead of $60,000. The dollar for dollar tax credit actually reduces the amount that you're going to owe to the state. So that $750 that I talked about, if you're donating it to the SGO, now you no longer owe it at all. There's no tax on it. So you're just, in essence, redirecting your state tax dollars from Columbus and going into their general fund and not really knowing where it's going to Chess to be doing the kingdom work that they're doing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And what are the credit amounts that an individual can donate, or like my wife and I as a married couple filing jointly, what are those amounts that we can donate?
So for an individual, you can give up to $750 to receive a full $750 tax credit. And for a married couple filing jointly, you can give up to $1,500 to receive the full $1,500 tax credit. Now remember, it's based off your liability. So if you give more, you can't get more on the credit, right?
So if I only owe $600 and I give $750, I'm not going to get that.
Nope, you're only going to get what you owe. So if you want the full credit and to count to the credit, you give what your liability is.
And how would someone, myself maybe, how would I estimate how much my Ohio State liability might be? Is there a convenient way to do that? Do I look at thresholds of income?
Yeah, well, the easiest way to do it would be checking out the OCEN tax calculator. We have it on our website, and I think you're going to actually send it out to the families here
We
at
are.
Chess.
We're going to be sending out a newsletter shortly, and that'll be on there for you guys to check out.
Yeah, so you just put just think about, especially right now, if you have your W-2s in front of you, which you should have your W-2s by now. Just take a look at how much you and if your spouse, if they're working, put that number in the income, and it should tell you, hey, this is a good, again, I'm not a tax professional either. This is all like, hey, in the most standard, reasonable situation, this is probably what's going to happen. And so you put that into the calculator, and if you know any deductions you may have, so in Ohio there are like dependent deductions and some business deductions, and so if you don't know those, you probably don't have them. So just leave it blank. Just be conservative on that. But just put that dollar in that you and your spouse have made, and the tax calculator will actually say, this is your tax liability. You can give up to this amount for the dollar for dollar tax credit.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now,
but here's a good gauge though. If you make about $43,000 for an individual, you're going to be around the $750, and if you make about $69,000 for a couple, you're going to be around the $1,500.
Okay. And when you're talking about deductions, I was thinking, as a Christian school, most of our families are paying tuition already. Are they able to take advantage of that tuition tax credit in addition to OCEN, or do they cancel out? Do you know how that works?
So you have to give to OCEN, and your tax liability has to be high enough that you would get a credit for both. But yes, you absolutely can.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Because I think that would be a question for a lot of our families would have is, am I going to lose out on the tuition tax credit that they're already taking advantage of? And this is just for my own personal situation. Last year, I was able to, with my tax preparer, take advantage of both the tuition that I paid for my own children, that tax credit plus OCEN.
Yes. In the state, yes. That is correct. Yep.
Yeah. So
you just have to make sure that tax liability is large enough to cover both credits.
Right. Are people, is it limited to families that attend Chess? Can neighbors, grandparents, pastor, who can give, who can donate?
So anyone in the state of Ohio who has a state tax liability can donate. Anyone. So if you have grandparents that live up north, if you have aunts and uncles who live to the east, if you have former students who are just living somewhere in the state and still have a state tax liability, they can all redirect that state tax liability to Chess through the OCEN SGO. That's the great part about it, is that you don't have to be here at Chess. You don't even have to be like a student or family. All you have to do is have a state tax liability here in the state of Ohio and care about Christian education and what Chess is doing here, not only here in Warren County, but for the kingdom of God.
Yeah. And I think in our case, last year, we were able to give out around $28,000 in scholarships. So I think we had less than 20 families or individuals who were able to donate, but our community is over 200 families. And that's just the parents here. That's not including grandparents and pastors and neighbors. And so I can imagine if we were able to get our community on board with this, what an impact that could have for Chess.
So let's say 250 people, right? So you have 200 families, staff, community, 250, and they give a average of $1,000. So some will be individuals and give $750. Some will be married couples. 250 people. That's it. Giving an average of $1,000, $250,000. Let's say each one of those people just asks one person in their circles, right? So someone at church, someone they go to work with, someone who they know cares about the kingdom of God and the great things that Chess is doing. And they get 500 people, $500,000, $500,000. Just this 1 year can go towards Chess for scholarships here and improve the opportunities and the lives of the families here at Chess.
Right, because all that money is actually going to the school through the tuition scholarships. It's not being funneled other places. It's
Absolutely.
going directly to tuition scholarships.
So all your donation goes to the OCEN SGO. And the OCEN SGO, there will be a small amount that's taken out for administration fees, but if you designate it to Chess, that money goes to Chess for scholarships. And then also families will be able to apply for scholarships. And it doesn't matter if you gave or if you didn't give, you can still apply for a scholarship. So if you're like, well, I can't give because I want to apply. Nope, you can do both. And yeah, so I would encourage you to do both. Yep.
You work with other schools all across the state. Do you have testimonies or examples of other schools who, we're at that $28,000 mark at the moment, but we would love to grow that.
Yes.
Do you have examples of other schools?
So there's other schools actually pretty close here in the county that have raised close to $400,000 through an SGO. There are schools up north in Cleveland who are way smaller than Chess. And I think they're maybe in their second year, and so they're 75 students, and they're close to $300,000. Wow. So really, it's really understanding the opportunity. There's just no opportunity like it to help fund Christian education. Think about it this way. If you were to sit down with your church, with a ministry you love, and be able to write a $10,000 check, oh my word, wouldn't that just unlock your heart? Wouldn't that just like, wow, I would love to do that. I can't do that. I know a lot of families probably here at Chess can't just write a $10,000 check and it not hurt. But if you were able to give to the OCEN SGO the full $1,500 for 6 years, you would in fact be given $10,500. $10,500 to not only promote the Christian education here at Chess, but impact the kingdom of God. What other opportunity will you ever come across to do something like that?
Yeah. So when it comes to the SGO, I'll be honest that the first time I heard about it, about 1.5 years ago, I was skeptical because it does sound too good to be true. The idea that I can redirect the taxes I have to pay it anyway, but I can redirect it from whatever the government's going to do with it toward a school that I care about and that I trust, and for students and families that we can support. And so when in that moment that I was skeptical, I hadn't done it, I attended an event, and it was another Chess parent who was sitting next to me that spoke up and shared a testimony of how he had been doing it for, I think, 2 years at that point. And it just seemed so easy, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to what you're saying, trust you, but I'm still gonna verify. I'm gonna go talk to my tax guy. So I sat in the office of my tax preparer, and just asked him, like, hey, do you know what an SGO is? And sure enough, he's like, oh yeah, we do this. And I'm like, okay, well, can I do it right here? Because I have an email that I just have to click and donate. And he said, sure. And it probably took me 3 to 4 minutes. I mean, however long it took me to plug in my debit card information and scroll down and find chess, I did that. And it was through OCEN's website. And immediately I got a tax receipt for it, showed it to my tax guy, forwarded him the email, and he entered it into whatever database, preparing my taxes.
The 1040.
Yeah. And so it went from, at the time I owed a lot in Ohio tax, and it immediately deducted that $1,500 for my wife and I for that donation. And it was like, oh my goodness, instead of me writing a check to the government for this huge amount, I siphoned off a little bit and redirected it to Chess family. And that was amazing. It was like, I need to do this every year, and I need to tell everyone about it.
And you're absolutely right. And that's the thing about the SGO that is so amazing, is that you can actually give up to tax day this year, tax day April 15th, and you can do it while you're sitting there with your CPA. So all the way up to tax day, all the way up until you file, if you use a credit card. If you're planning on writing a check, you'll want to do it a little bit before, because we can't issue a receipt until that check clears. It is super simple. You go into the OCEN's website, click donate. It will take you to our CRM called Theodore. You'll create an account and you'll give through there. Designate Chess as your school, and you can give right there while you're doing your taxes with your CPA. And no one wants to, create another account or log in, whatever. But the beauty is, if you ever do need that receipt again, it's always in your account. So you can log back into your account, find your receipt if you ever need it for anything else. So a little bit of 3 or 4 minutes to have that security forever.
Right. And it's such a good opportunity for us as a community to support our families and support our students ultimately, but to support our families in the things that we're already doing here, because we don't ever want our families to feel that financial pressure of, oh, can we make it again this year? And here's just one more avenue that we can show that support. And so it's such a great opportunity that I encourage all of our community, tell your neighbors, tell your pastor, tell your coworkers, look into an SGO, specifically OCEN, and find chess and donate. And that way you are supporting Christian education and supporting our families. So as we kind of wrap up here, what are some of the things, or like what's the next step for our family, for our community? Is it to check out your website? Is it to click on a QR code or check out the tuition calculator?
Check out the tuition calculator first off. If you haven't done your taxes yet, take the OCEN SGO information with you. Ask your tax professional, what is my state tax liability? What is it? What am I paying to the state that I could redirect to Chess? Get on the OCEN tax calculator and see what you could receive in a tax credit and give to Chess. See what kind of an impact you could make. And then after you do it, be an ambassador about the program. The biggest hurdle we have with the SGO is people not understanding it. And I mean, we're all risk averse. We don't want to just throw $1,500 to something we've never done before or don't understand. But the more that we have people do it and they understand it and can be a witness and give their testimony, it would be a great opportunity for more people to buy in to the SGO and have their state tax dollars do real good for the kingdom.
And that's ultimately what sold me on it, was hearing another chess dad say, it worked for me, I got that refund back. And then I did it that same year and it worked for me. I'm telling you guys, it worked for me, and we were able to redirect those tax dollars to chess scholarships. And it's just such a great opportunity.
I've done it all 4 years. I've gotten the credit all 4 years. It's a simple process. Whether you're working with your CPA or working with one of the TurboTax or software, it will ask you, did you donate? And you'll just say the SGO tax credit, put that number in there, and just like that.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Adam, thank you for
being here. My pleasure. And if you guys check out OCEN's website, if you need to reach me, please, my information's on there, and you can always reach me on myself, 513-260-0658. What we want to see is more people involved in the SGO, making chess more available to families here in the area, and release some of that burden.